Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. We are 93 sailing and we have recently upgraded our boat to give ourselves a giga chest. The rosewood cargo hold can hold up to 240 salvage, and I've just been using this while AFKing some salvaging at the moment. It's kind of good when both of the spots go down. I'm using world 486, it seems to be the best world at the moment. Generally speaking, when you're salvaging, you want to be on a highly populated world, but at the same time, there will still be examples where you're stuck AFK. This is one example of why such a massive cargo hold is good. By the time both of these shipwrecks go down, you can actually process this and not lose a whole lot of time and not stress about kind of just being on the ocean and not being a busybody. But to begin this video, this is the end of the journey. It may not seem like it, but after AFKing for about a week, the skill that we unlocked 2 weeks ago, it'll be complete. We'll get our max cape back, and that is the plan for today. So with that said, this is what my inventory is going to start off looking like this video, and over the course of the days, the weeks, however much time flies by, I think things will change up quite a lot. I'll probably end up filling up my herb sack and my seed box. I recently emptied those at the banks before, but when you stand still in one place for extended periods of time, chances are things like these, they fill up, and eventually I'm going to be dropping snapdragons on the floor again, as much as it pains me. Now that all the prerequisites are out of the way, I can finally sit back, relax, and let 99 sailing simply come to me. I didn't anticipate actually enjoying salvaging as much as I did. It probably to a fault. A lot of the resources that I gathered throughout this grind, I ended up dropping onto the floor. My herb sack filled up quite a few times, and there was a lot of resources I wasn't able to capitalize on because I simply wanted to stay out in the ocean. So, a blessing or a curse, I'm not exactly sure. In addition to that, the red topaz, the thousands of them that I received, I probably banked 10 of them. So if we had a gem sack that could hold red topaz, cough cough Jagex, I think that would be a very nice quality of life upgrade to salvaging, especially from an Ironman perspective. Okie dokie, a couple of weeks later, here we are. We are at the final inventory of salvaging that we need to do. The crystal extractor still gives 600 experience in this moment. I imagine watching this clip back, that thing will probably be different the next time I see it. But I think, I don't know, Cabin Boy Jenkins, ex-Captain Siad, I don't know who just did it, but one of them just maxed my account. I didn't even have to do it this time. Totally hands off. But there is 99 sailing. I turned the music on for myself just now. It's the first time I've heard the level up sound effect. But overall, a very nice skill. I'm probably going to stay on my boat for a little while. I'm not going to buy the skill cape just yet. I'm kind of comfy where I'm sitting. Maybe when my herb sack fills up, I'll go to the shores. But I don't know, salvaging, this might be my favorite training method in the game. And for the first time ever, getting a 99 skill, the thing that I want to do the most right now, it's continue training the skill. So I don't know how long I'm going to do that for. All I know is that I've enjoyed the journey so far, and we've almost recovered all of those dragon nails we invested into the cargo hold. Very good investment, by the way. I think my favorite way to train this, at least as of late, is to get the two boys on the hooks. I go completely AFK, and in 25 minutes time, I wiggle the mouse a little bit and just, you know, you might have 100 salvage or something. And then you just go straight through them and you get nice free chunks of experience that way. But anyway, I'm going to stay on my boat, keep working the salvaging docks, and watch my crystal shard pile increase even further. At least until this thing gets nerfed. I imagine this will change. It feels a bit strange getting crystal shards nowhere near Prifdinus. Like, we're on the other side of the map, so it would make sense if they changed it so you had to be in these crystal oceans to extract those fragments from said oceans. But whilst this crystal extractor is in the state that it is currently in, I'm quietly content. Ooh, update. I wonder what's gonna happen to this thing. Okie dokie. After checking out that blog post, I am going to change my plans. I wanted to do a bit of a meme clip where I kind of just go from, 13 million sailing all the way up to like 20 million. I'm not going to do that anymore. Turns out the crystal extractor is getting gutted from 600 experience per harvest down to 250. Additionally, the salvaging that I'm getting 95 experiencing for, I should say the sorting element of it, that'll be dropping down to something like 35 or something. So essentially, salvaging, the way I enjoy it, is going bye-bye. I'm glad I got to 99 today, but my time at these shipwrecks, it's going to be over. I'm just going to cry if I stay here. Seeing the like 600 EXP drop, I'm going to look back at this clip and just, just remember the good old times. So I guess on the plus side, it's going to motivate me to do other content, but I was kind of low-key looking forward to salvaging for another week or so. I have been enjoying it thus far, but it probably was too good to be true, and it's better to rip a band-aid off quicker than it is to let it fester. So to those of you who did not get to enjoy the 600 experience crystal extractor and the 95 sorting through salvage experience, you missed something beautiful. But in the wise words of the internet, when it comes to RuneScape upgrades and updates, abuse early, abuse often. I didn't abuse the bronze hooks. For those who do not know, the salvaging hooks, if you were using bronze ones, you could get upwards of like 170,000 experience an hour salvaging. So they were definitely bugged. They got fixed. I didn't want to get my account banned, so I didn't abuse that one early or often. But luckily that was quietly fixed. But it's a very loud update this one's going to be. We're going to go from upwards of 120,000 experience an hour doing this method. We're going to lose maybe 30% of that. We're going to be dropping below 100k. So salvaging for me is dead. I will be moving on to other things. I think I'll move on to combat achievements. That is something I want to move towards. I'll just have to, over the next 29 minutes, get the most value out of the time I have left, try and concoct a plan. And then when the update hits, I leave this place for good. It was definitely fun while it lasted. But overall, I think my kind of gut feeling is that this update, this nerf, is a little heavy-handed. The thing I thought was the most confusing, the fact that you can extract a crystal from outside crystalline waters, that was the thing that made the least amount of sense, and that's the thing that still remains in the game post-update. Instead, they've gutted salvaging and they've gutted the experience itself. The experience from the extractor kind of makes sense. At least conceptually, you could just argue the numbers could be like either good or bad, but conceptually, I think it's in the right direction. But yeah, being able to extract crystals out of any ocean anywhere is a bit weird, and that's going to be left untouched. Out of pure curiosity, after the patch goes live, I'll do salvaging for 1 more hour. I'm very curious to see how much experience I get. I don't generally pay attention to how much I'm getting, but in excess of 100k, quite common. 120k, if I'm going full attentive mode, might be the case, but I'm going to do 1 hour of salvaging after the patch goes live, and I'm going to see what changes. And for the final time ever, we're going to harvest this crystal extractor with 600 experience. But in 7 seconds, it is over. Salvaging as I knew it, as I enjoyed it, is complete, and it'll never be back ever again. That is so grim. We all got teleported to the dock. Everybody, like, I've got Entity Hider on. There are hundreds of people who just got logged out, removed from their salvaging location, and have been sent to Deepfin Point. Let's see what it looks like if I turn off Entity Hider. Just hundreds of players panicking to get back out on the boat. But to be honest, I really don't want to actually go back out. I'm actually so sad. I think before I go out, I'm going to go grab myself a salvaging skill cape. That is just my mental state right now. If it wasn't obvious, sailing to me was salvaging more or less. It was a fun skill while it lasted. But I probably should buy the cape to celebrate the good times, right? Only problem is, don't know exactly where the NPC is that sells it. Looks like he's over here. It'd be sick if the turtle had it. That would be amazing. Oh yeah, there it is. What a beautiful thing. At this point, I've seen the emote a few times, not from yours truly, but it's definitely a very nice looking animation there. I think after 1 more animation cast of the emotes, we shall stick to our word. I don't want to, but I'm going to test how much they have indeed gutted my boy. Let's see what damage Jagex have actually done. I just realized too, the teleport for the sailing skill cape is actually insane. If this does what I think it does, and I can just teleport to this thing at any point, looks like you lose your cargo for some reason if you teleport to the boat. I'm an idiot. I've just teleported my boat to me. I've totally misinterpreted what the hell that even meant. Not that it matters. I cleared out all my cargo before the patch went through. Anyway, gonna try and find another double spot. Apparently all of that has been changed around as well. Alright, my eyes have seen enough. They've changed it so there's a bunch of new double spots and the uptime is just abysmal. So I can't even accurately, like even if I want to test it right now, I couldn't give an accurate measurement. I might put on screen some like rates that other people are getting, but I'm not going to waste an hour over here. Until like a new meta is discovered and uptime is kind of optimized and people understand it more, it just simply is not going to be worth it. So for the time being, I think sailing is just dead. I'm going to play the game again, once again. I'm going to put sailing in a box, and I'm going to let it sit there. Maybe if it changes, I'll play it again. Disappointing though. I'm really torn. I'm like, is this absolutely necessary or is this overkill? I really can't decide. One good thing about this update is that Frost Dragons, their respawn time has been increased from 18 seconds down to 4. So instead of like 3 people being the only eligible people to access that spot at once, I imagine the activity in that place can be kind of increased. There's also a Slayer only area, which is also nice. So the update's not entirely bad, but man, it's left a sour taste in my mouth, and I really not super interested in engaging with the skill. As well, on the upside, we've got our max cape back. We can wear that thing once again. Short but sweet indulgence of the sailing cape. I think for posterity, I'm not going to rename my boat, although that is a pretty cool perk. The only problem in my immediate future that I need to solve is what new AFK method do I feel like doing? To answer that, I believe Winter Tot is going to be my answer, because I still need to get myself a Phoenix pet. So, whilst I get my bearings and kind of rearrange my plans, I think it is time we go to the Tot. When I play this game, I kind of abide by the acronym ADS. Always do something. This is the biggest reason why I've avoided the combat achievements, because I need to pause, I need to plan, and I need to kind of figure out what I'm doing next. To do that, I need to take my attention away from making my number go up. We need to get 383 points. And I'm just going to have to cop the fact that I'm going to be standing still, I'm going to be looking at wiki guides, and my experience number is not going to go up. I've come to terms with it, I've grieved it, I've mourned it, I've lost it, my experience rates are going to drop, but we're going to get some achievement points. Starting off will be the KBD. I think this one will be super good because I do want a secondary dragon pickaxe. Having to pull my only pickaxe out of TOA, constantly putting it back in and out is just laborious. Looking forward to never doing that again. Additionally, having a draconic visage wouldn't go too bad. There's a lot of content that I have skipped, and I'm going to have to retroactively go back and fill in all the gaps. So with that said, wish me luck. I want a dragon pickaxe. It's a 1 in 1,000 from the KBD. I highly doubt I'm going to get that many kill count, but maybe I can get spooned. I teleport to gear up and go to the bank, and the Master Crafter, he's got a skill cape of nothing. He's a fraud. I don't exactly have an attention to detail when it comes to these things, but that is very, very strange to see the logo completely scrubbed away from this man's cape. I thought I better grab my cape out and just say, it sucks to suck, Master Crafter. Get good, kid. This is a bit of a side quest, not gonna lie, but I actually want to see if any other of the skill cape masters, if they've had their icons scrubbed off as well. The fastest one I thought I could check in with would be the attack skill cape. Let's see the reveal. It's still there. It might look a little scuffed, his armor's kind of going through his backside, but it is still there. I think I'll check the fletching skill cape, and that can conclude my research for today. Alright, Higton, what have you got, mate? You do have a logo on your back, is it correct though? What? You've just got a circle. What has happened here? There might have been some things screwed up with the attack one. I just assumed it would be either on or off, logo-wise, but Higton's halfway in between. What is going on around these places? You would think nobody in this bracket is PKing at the KBD lair. Surely. Here goes nothing. We are safe. Nice, there is 2 tasks out of the way. I swear I hit like 20 zeros that kill, but I don't know if it's just bad RNG or what. I keep screwing up the protect from melee one because I'm prayer flicking, but yeah, that'll do it. Just camp it, makes it much easier. Oh, the defense cape perk. I was trying to squeeze out one more kill. I think that's like the first Ring of Life effect I've even experienced on this account. Definitely going to change my gear though. I might go Dehide instead of Prosy. Bit more strength bonus as well. There we go, that made a lot of difference. 6 extra max hits from that strength bonus. I don't know if the Dehide really did a whole lot. I feel like I'm still getting arse blasted. That's alright, one more task down. The only one left is 4 kill count from now. One more hit should do it. That'll be the final combat task done. Short and sweet. I actually enjoyed that. That was actually fun to do. I don't know if the rest of them are going to be that fun, but hopefully, fingers crossed. My time at the KBD lair is over. I came here from the Fairy Ring DJR, managed to get absolutely destroyed by the Aberrant Spectres, got my stats drained down to 0. fully potted back up, and then, okay, I'm actually dying here. Very good. This is all in the attempt of getting this combat achievement done. It was a bit ugly, but it's done now. But once I'd restored my stats, I went through the Banshees and had them drain them as well. Quite the process to get that one complete. It should be a nice little double up on the Chaos Fanatic 10kc, as well as the 10kc without the prayer pot doses. Now I can do the final 15 actually drinking prayer pots. There should be the final one for the Chaos Fanatic. I can now leave the wilderness. Is what I would say if I was a pussy. After the Chaos Fanatic, we went and hit up the Scorpion, aka Scorpia. I wanted to demonstrate the method that I used to get all of my 25kc, just tagging it with the Eye of Ayak, bringing it in the southwestern corner, and once she was in position, hit her with an Ice Barrage. What this does, if you freeze her here, once the healers spawn, they kind of dance underneath her, and it's not foolproof, it's not a 100% success rate, but a lot of the kills that you get, you can kind of prevent them from ever healing her in the first place, so just kind of simplifies things a little bit, and this is the method I reproduced for all 25 kills. Some were more hairy than others, but all in all, Scorpia wasn't too bad. I don't know if it's just because I'm in the 2350 worlds or what, but I didn't get interrupted at all, which is nice. We also got ourselves an Odium Shard 3. I don't think I'll ever complete the full shield, but at least that's a collection log item. But like I said, all 25 kills, relatively smooth experience, and it's kind of nice to get some of these achievements out of the way in the wilderness, and to be totally undisturbed. Taking a little bit of a break from the wilderness, it was time to get into the Moons of Peril. With my first kill count under my belt, I managed to lock down a Blood Moon helmet, which is kind of a nice thing to see. My ultimate item that I'm realistically going for, the one that would have the most impact, would be the dual Mucklehedals. That would, be my ultimate goal from this place, but we did manage to get a Blue Moon Spear, so at the very least, if I don't obtain the Mucklehedals, I can actually complete the Betrayal Combat Achievement task, where you require to kill one of the moons with their own weapons. So that was realistically the minimum necessary requirement to get that complete, so it was nice to see that item. But the Fat of the Land combat achievement, I read it wrong. I thought it would take multiple hours. I think you need to kill like 30 moons without leaving. My brain interpreted that as 30 cycles, not 10 if you complete all 3 bosses, so that was a pleasantly surprising combat achievement to get, because it took 1/3 of the time to actually obtain it. With all combat achievements out of the way, 50 bones on my way out, my time at the Moons of Peril, at least for now, is over. Sarachnis was up next, and this guy fell to the floor pretty quickly. With Arania Boots, the mechanics of this boss go straight out the window, and you don't have to use your brain very much at all, which is something I always highly value. The achievements were all quite easy. The only one that I had a little bit of issues was with the crush weapon requirement. This is simply because I didn't bring a crush weapon with me, and I used a rune two-hander that I got from a drop instead. And with that said, the two-hander actually went pretty hard, and this achievement, despite being the hardest of them all, was actually really easy to do with this weapon, which I didn't expect. With all of these bosses, no stone was being unturned, and the amoxliatl is what I had to come up against next. This one, I kind of got destroyed by it. It did a lot of damage to me, and there was one that I actually gave up on trying to obtain, that being the speed trialist one. I don't see myself getting a 30-second down on one of these anytime soon, but outside of that, we did get the glacial to models, whatever they're even called, and we managed to complete most of the combat achievements at the very least. Afterwards, we did a bit of Vorkath. Why not blend these two together, right? Both icy themed, but what I most enjoyed for Vorkath was figuring out how to complete this achievement here. The walk achievement requires you to get X amount of hits off whilst dodging the fiery attack, and once it clicked to me that you could use a special attack that does multiple attacks, aka some dragon claws or burning claws, as soon as that clicked, that was a very satisfying moment to actually get that combat achievement completed. I let the fate of Slayer decide where I went next. Fortunately, whether it be Aya or Kurudal, both of them give me opportunities to work on bosses that need combat achievements, and the Abyssal Sire, a boss that I'd never taken down before, is where we went to next. The achievements that I had the most difficulty with was probably the perfect sire kill count. I think during the teleport animation I was getting whipped or some bullshit, and it took quite a few attempts to make sure I could lock down a perfect sire kill. But I was just realistically relieved to get that completed before the 50 kill count came. I was going to be a bit tilted if I had to stay back after the fact, but the rest of them, the Vengeance Rebound's a pretty cool mechanic to take advantage of, and of course the 50 KC as well. And with that 50 kill count, I don't think I'll ever come back to this boss. I don't think the Bludgeon realistically will help me out a whole lot. The Huster might be better DPS, I'm not 100% sure on that. All in all, I kind of wish I had a reason to stay at this boss, but the reality is, I simply don't. Staying with the Slayer theme, just swapping between Trial tasks and Curdle tasks, it was time to do some Cave Kraken. The amount of tasks required essentially revolved around doing the private instance with 100 kill count to the Kraken, and with Blood Magic and the Eye of Iark, it was a bit of a piece of piss. I would just throw the fishing explosive towards the Kraken, do a blood barrage whilst it was in the air, and if I realistically needed to heal up a lot of HP, I could just blood barrage the whirlpool. So that one was kind of free for as long as I had blood runes, which I brought plenty of. Afterwards, we then moved on to some Smoke Devils, aka the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil, and this achievement here was pretty cool. I'd end up just using the Crystal Halberd, attacking it once and teleporting straight out. For both of these achievements, it kind of synergized well. You can only kill it with special attacks, and you can only do it without getting hit. If you combine these two tasks together, yeah, the synergy is there, and it was a pretty easy combination to make, getting ourselves some diamonds there. I was very curious to see what the loot was, but all in all, these 3 combat achievements for Thermi, pretty easy to pull off. Now, this was a bit of a switch up. Obor I have not touched in a long ass time. Giant Key being a new collection log item should pretty much say it all. Getting a bunch of achievements on the first kill. I found that he wouldn't respawn unless you clicked open chest, even if you didn't have a key, but RNG out the arse, we managed to get a Hill Giant Club after 4 kill count. Don't know how useful that's going to be, but it was nice to see it anyway. Anything in red text looks pretty sexy. I wanted to see if I could do this free-to-play achievement without gearing up in free-to-play gear, so I just used whatever gear setup I had and just changed the runes around, and I kind of waited with bated breath to see if the achievement would come through, but it did. Despite having a bunch of members' items on me, because they have no utility in free-to-play at all, I guess it still counts, which was pretty cool to see. For better or for worse, I flinched the Chaos Elemental 25 times to get the combat achievements out of the way. That is why you see the air runes and the mind runes in my inventory. I would wind strike it, run behind a tree, and spend multiple minutes for each kill count. A little bit embarrassing. The only tip I can offer if you do aim to flinch it, if you use the Runelight health bar as your marker of when to attack next, that'll be more accurate than the health bar above its head, especially if it's poisoned or burnt. Those poison and burn effects refresh its health bar above its head, where the Runelight heads-up display doesn't get refreshed in the same way, so you don't kind of, get confused and wait longer than you need to. But after we did the Callous Elemental, I went and took down the Corporal Beast. If I thought 2 or 3 minute kills were long, man oh man, this was a different breed altogether. But surprisingly, I kind of enjoyed killing this boss. It's kind of a pipe dream, but if I could get myself an Ellie shield one day, it's kind of like a nostalgic thing to go for. I believe the Divine, the green version, isn't in the game, but at the very least, getting an Elysian would be pretty sick. And after that, we did a Hespori kill count. The good thing about this is that you can consistently reset it. So if you see a kill isn't going to be fast enough, you can simply abandon it and retry again. In the end, took me maybe 10-20 attempts to get the final speed kill there, but now Hespori is also completed. I got myself a gargoyle task and felt no better activity to do other than the Grotesque Guardians. It looks like the Corporal Beast is not the only monster dropping Onyx Bolt tips today. We managed to knock out quite a few of the achievements for the Guardians, not completing absolutely all of them, just the kind of bang for your buck sort of achievements, so a nice healthy injection of points there. Following up with a little bit of Zulrah. I still hadn't used the melee method yet, and it was pretty satisfying to get this speed achievement out of the way as well. That nice 71 coming in clutch at the very end, but yeah, enjoy using the halberds for Zulrah, but unfortunately that was the only achievement I got from the snake. It was then on to the Royal Titans, also not completing absolutely everything, but again, just some of those bang for your buck achievements. The 1 by 1 as well as the no prayer drain one. I was just like watching my Bofa noodle here, just very much frantically hoping for the best that it would get the kill. Eventually though, we got it done. Now, Huey this is a strange one. Because I've never done the boss before, I didn't know what to expect, but all in all, we managed to tick off some of those easy ones. Getting myself the official title of a wizard is also great. The achievement I struggled with the most was the perfect Huey. I believe you need to get 5 kill count without taking damage from the mechanics, and when the mass world is world 420 and your ping is quite high on that world, I ended up having to like sit out by the side and just dodging the mechanics, just waiting by this hillside over here. It was weird, I had to be patient, but all in all, in the end, I managed to achieve that as well. I realistically would have liked to jump over the mechanics, but I still don't understand how that wave works. It feels so inconsistent whether or not you actually take damage. So if you really need to, just sit by the side for a couple of kills to get that done. I was a little resentful coming back into Bandos, considering that a lot of the achievements that I needed to do would have been done if I'd simply selected a private instance when I did it in the first place, but there were some others such as the Org Freezer, where I needed Mage for that I hadn't done previously, so we went and did that first, and look, things weren't exactly smooth the entire way, but the issue I had for some reason is like my brain didn't know how to process killing the minions before killing the boss. The amount of mistakes I made in the process of unlocking this final achievement here, at least with magic for the time being, ridiculous. Like, I'm so glad I can edit it and just show you like the final result, because the process, holy shit, was that ugly. But once I was finished with all the different magician related achievements, this is the one that I was resentful about. Just needing to be in a private instance to get X amount of kill count, and you thought I was going to die there, let's be honest, but in the end, this final kill count is what enabled me to finally achieve the Org Killer achievement. As much as I would have liked to complete it with Mage, not having an imbued heart definitely held me back. So as you can see, fluctuating between standard bosses and whatever Slayer seemingly throws at me, and also of course I examined this star. I'm not going to waste good stardust on nothing, but on my very first kill count of Dagannoth Prime, I got myself a Seer's Ring. I panicked so hard, I tried to teleport away and instead managed to die, so at least I was able to pick up the ring before that happened, so it was in my gravestone, but holy shit, that could have ended in disaster. But out of all the bosses I've killed today, this is definitely the most interesting. The combat tasks range between funny and frustrating, and all in all, it was a bit of a slog to get some of them at the very least. Some of them I managed to pull off accidentally, but I can claim that I did it on purpose. I think the most challenging was the Rapid Successor, or Rapid Succession combat task. In the end, that was the one I was most relieved to see finally completed, but the 25kc ones also being done. Rex obviously got done quite some time ago, but all in all, we managed to get ourselves a Seer Cull, as well as, after this, a second Seer's Ring. Still no Archer's Ring though. Have to chase that down another time. Aya was pretty generous with her following Slayer tasks. I got myself like 19 Kalphites, which was enough to finish off the 50kc at the Kalphite Queen. We then got some spiders as a task, which prompted me to go and check out Araxxor. Turns out there's a few high-hitting combat achievements that I hadn't got out of the way, and they were relatively straightforward to get completed. Some required a couple of attempts, but in general, achievements like Let It Seep In, where you simply don't purge venom, quite an easy thing to tick off. The main achievement that I still need to tick off for Araxxor might be the perfect one. I still haven't realistically attempted that. Maybe one day into the future, I'll give it a go, but the combat achievements outside of the DKs that were the most interesting to engage with were definitely the Tormented Demons. The rapid reload one, very straightforward. Grab yourself a hunter lit crossbow and shoot 3 of them. Easy enough. The following though, kill 3 of them in like 2 seconds time. This was a process. I had to death pile a bunch of Saradome in Bruise. As you saw, got teleported away thanks to the max cape, so for the subsequent death piling I made sure to take off my max cape before I dropped my Sire Bruise and lowered myself down, but I dropped about 130 Saradome and Bruise on the floor and kind of just walked around in a square over and over again after venoming the Tormented Demons. Before I did venom them, I lowered my stats down to 1, that way my blowpipe didn't cause a kind of disruption in how much damage each took. So all in all, I was pretty happy to get this one out of the way. Definitely unconventional, but it seemingly worked out well. And of course, after it was over, I had to go and loot my sire brews. I'm not going to simply leave 100 sire brews on the floor. What do you take me for? Alright, so Jagex, they fixed salvaging at least a little bit. So the meme clip that I was going for in the end, it looks like we're going to get it. There is 20 million sailing experience. This was not worth the time investment just to get this meme clip, but it exists now. Thank you for ungutting my favorite part of the sailing skill. Also a little bit of time traveling. I got the dragon spear and the shield left half with a berserker ring. You do the math. With that all said and done, we did a lot of damage to the combat achievements. We started at 383 to the next tier. We now only need 21. I think either in the next episode or maybe the episode after that, depends how good my time management is. I have a plan on how I'm going to get those points exactly. But until that video, thank you for watching this one. I'll catch you in the next one.